This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source on San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM and Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then. All right, Houston, this is Gilbert Garcia with another tip from Gilbert, Talk, Inspiration, and Prayer. Of course, I'm Gilbert, so it's a tip from me. And we have a great guest on our show, and that's, of course, Council Member Tarsha Jackson of District B. Council member, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, we before we go into everything about her, because there's a lot to talk about her. She's been a wonderful advocate and really a great civic leader. We do have a call that's already called in. I want to go ahead and give them their justice, or their due, rather. Roar Muhammad, are you there? Did we lose him? Roar Muhammad, are you there? Well, while we're waiting for him, don't forget, it's been told to me that today is the last day to register to vote. This is it. And I'm happy to report that my daughter made sure, because she just turned 18, that she got registered, and she wanted to make sure that she got her card because she was worried that somehow it wouldn't have gotten through. So my daughter's going to vote for the first time ever in her beautiful life. And she said there is no way she's going to miss voting for the first female president of the United States of America. She goes, there's no way. Roar Muhammad, are you there? Mr. Muhammad, are you there? Okay, we lost him. That's okay. So, Tarsha Jackson, first of all, I want to know something. What got you to run for office in the first place? Who inspired you? Who's the person that said, you know, you just got to get up there and you got to get going and go run for office?
Well, it's a long story. But
we got time. Let's go.
So just a little bit about me.
Please.
I'm born and raised throughout the district that I represent. Was born in Acres Homes, lived in the North Forest area, lived in Humble, Greenspoint, had my kids in Greenspoint. So I've been all over the district. And I didn't engage in politics coming up. You know, I'm Church of God in Christ. Father's a pastor. Grandfather was a pastor. Long line of ministers where it was basically go to church and home. Mm-hmm. But one day my special needs son was jailed in his elementary school for refusing to go to a timeout. And he was charged with an assault on a public servant. At the age of 10 in a special education class. And so that changed my life. That event, him being arrested and put into jail for something that could have been handled by D-Hall. Right. Instead, you jailed the 10-year-old child. And so I went from, being a parent advocate, went from working, at Wells Fargo to fighting for my kids. And during that time, I learned about the issues that was impacting our communities, issues like lack of jobs, affordable housing, the criminal justice system. And so over my years of advocacy, I just watched my district be neglected. And so the members at Texas Organizing Project, which we're a membership organization, we focus on a lot of variety of issues. We have a C3, C4 and a PAC. We have gotten a lot of elected officials elected. But it was things that were still neglected in our neighborhood. So the members were like, hey, we need to get one of our grassroots organizers, our leader, because I was their leader. Mm-hmm. We need to get someone in office that actually share our vision and our values. And so that's what encouraged me and empowered me to run. I knew that we needed an advocate in City Hall. I read about that issue about your son? My son. Your son. Yeah. First of all, as one parent to another, that's just outrageous. Come on, it's just outrageous. Yeah. I'll never forget my little boy, of course, at the time. Now he's 25 and he's working on Wall Street. I'm very proud of him. When he was in kinder, the second day of class, and there was a new teacher, brand new teacher.
and she sent him to the principal
Right.
by himself. So here he is, 5 years old, and she said, "Go to the principal's office," and he just wandered down the, he didn't even know where that is or what is that, and of course he came home, he was traumatized,
Right.
and this is my little boy, and I remember the next day I walked into class and took in, and I said, "I want to talk to you," to the teacher, and I said, "So why did you send my son to the principal?" And she said, "Well, he was acting up," and then we looked. And there was my son, and he was just like reading a book. I said, "You mean that child right there was acting up?" And she goes, "Yes." I go, "Well, who else was acting up with him?" And there was another child that was clearly just bouncing off the walls. She goes, "With that child?" I said, "So you mean the one that's bouncing off the walls you did not send to the principal, but you sent my son?"
Right.
I said, "Well, who told you?" She goes, "Well, the other boy did." I said, "So you just took the other boy's word that something was going on to my son?" I mean, the bottom line, it all comes down to who's training these kids. I mean,
Right.
these teachers.
I mean, back then it was about money.
Yeah.
Kids were being jailed for childish behavior. And between 2001, my son was jailed in 2001. He spent a total of 5.5 years
Come
in
on,
Texas juvenile jail.
You're killing me.
The Texas Youth Commission, because it was about money. Every child that was jailed, the state got paid $56,000 per year per child. When we fought and we won Senate Bill 103 in 2007, over 2,000 kids were returned back home into their communities within one day. The state was warehousing our Black, brown kids across the state of Texas. And so as a parent, my child was my priority. So I fought. We got laws passed that prohibit counties from jailing kids. We got a parent bill of rights that actually restored the parents' rights when children came involved with the juvenile justice system. But most importantly, I learned about the issues. I learned about the issues that was impacting our communities. And so I knew that it was important that I stayed the course, that I continue to advocate for our neighborhood.
You're an angel.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is I heard all the things, all the legislation that y'all have done is fantastic. But what are we doing to do something to sensitize or prepare those teachers to what to look for and to not just, I don't know the right word, jump the gun on these kids? What can we do to make sure they're prepared?
They need to be educated.
And sensitized.
Yeah, they need to be educated on mental health issues. Mental illness, we look at a person, sometimes mental health, you can't tell that the person is mental health. ADHD is a mental health issue. Bipolar is a mental health issue. And you have to deal with these individuals delicately, sensibly. And so the teachers need to be educated and trained that you can't violate their space, because when you violate their space, they become hostile. And so just educating the teachers on the difference between mentally retarded and mental disabilities that you can't see on the surface.
Is it working? Are these teachers getting some sort of education or sensitivity training?
Well, there was millions of dollars allocated to those dollars, to that type of training. So hopefully they are getting the training that they need. I'm not in the education system. My son now is 33 years old, but I do, continue to advocate for our kids through my Be Successful initiative, which is the hopefully we can talk about that later.
I want to write that down.
My Be Successful initiative, which is a comprehensive approach to addressing poverty and improving the lives of the quality of life of residents across District B in the city of Houston. One of the components focus on public safety, where we've trained a total of 89, well, actually it's close to 94 credible messengers. These are paid mentors that will work with these at-risk youth. Kids that have been in the system, the juvenile justice system, and who have successfully come out. So their job is to help the parents and help these youth that are dealing with similar situations navigate so that they don't get caught up in the juvenile justice system. And then, of course, provide the support to the schools so that they can understand, how to handle when you have a kid with a disability or a kid that's at risk, and so they come in and act as the interveners, violence interrupters, and so Be Successful. We're actually going to be voting on something next week to pay for the pilot program, and so I hope my council colleagues support it.
We're going to talk all about it, because I want to give it its justice. I see that caller waiting. We're going to go there real quick, but I just think that the juvenile justice system should be about preventing kids from being in the juvenile justice system,
not turning them into criminals.
And not because once you get them in there and they get part of the system, they change.
And let me just say this. My son, okay, he spent 5.5 years in Texas, the Texas TYC and Harris County Juvenile Probation. And that means 5.5 years away from home, like caged in a jail cell. So he got out when he was 16 years old, from 10 to 16. And then he was out for like a year, but he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and just traumatized from that whole experience. But eventually he went back up into the system at 18, and he's been there for 15 years now. So the school to prison pipeline is real. You know, once these kids get caught up in the system, it's hard to pull them out of the system. Yep. You know, I hear a lot of advocates and organizations, you know, they use that term lightly, but it's a real situation. We have to keep the kids from going into the juvenile justice system, because once they're in there, it's hard to like redirect them because of the trauma that they experience when they need systems.
And I've had family members that have been incarcerated.
Yeah.
You know, once you're in, you know, it's hard to even navigate through the different courts and the different judges and the different restraining orders and all. It's hard to even figure that out.
And that's what we have. We have parents that have, as I mentioned, the credible messengers. We have parent navigators who work with these parents that have kids before they even must get in the system. We trying to keep them from going in the system. We work closely with juvenile probation, Henry Gonzalez, while we creating these preventive programs or alternatives to incarceration, investing in community-based organizations, investing in our faith base. That's how we, you know, keep this prison system from continuing to grow. So we have to tackle them at the very beginning, keep them out of the system.
Amen. You're an angel. Let's come back to what was that name again? Show it to me real quick. Shiva. Shiva, are you there? This is Gilbert Garcia with Council Member Jackson. Shiva, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you? And welcome to the show. You got something for me or for the council member?
So I am actually calling from the Acres Home Chamber. I am calling on behalf of Warren F. Muhammad.
Oh, wonderful. Somehow we missed him. I know he called and he dropped off, so I apologize to him, but I'm glad you're on. Speak to us.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about what you guys are talking about. I kind of came in on the last part. You're talking about disabled children or children with some kind of mental history.
Sure, let's go through it. And again, Mr. Muhammad, if you're there, please call in. We missed you, and let us know what's going on in the Acres Home and what's going on with the chamber and what's going on in the community, because I know you've always got a lot of things going on your program schedule. What we're talking about,
we do.
We'll go, actually, before we answer your question, go ahead, tell us what's going on there.
Okay, so as usual, every year we have our 34th annual gala and fundraiser coming on October 25th. The doors will open at 6 o'clock. We have AJ McQueen doing a musical performance. We've got Chelsea Edwards as our MC, and we've got Winston LeBay from the SBA doing our keynote speaker. And it's just going to be a great event. And of course, you know, part of the proceeds go to Lone Star College North in their workforce development program and to chamber programming. But I don't know if you know about this. We have a farmer's market every third Saturday at the Acres Home Chamber.
No.
As you know, it's a food desert. Yes, Gilbert, you got to come out.
You know what? I did not know. Tell us about that. By the way, there used to be one on my street on Stella Link by Braeswood, and then now that it moved down further down into like Bel Air. I love farmers markets. I love them. Yeah. And I love the concept of buying local, but also the stuff is fresh. The vegetables, things are fresh. There's always someone that does this fresh squeezed lemonade. I love that. And there's always someone that does this special beef jerky. I love that. And there's all these wonderful crafts and everything. Tell us what goes on at yours.
So we definitely have fresh produce, locally grown peppers, cucumbers, greens, whenever they're in season. I mean, it was so hot this year. Luckily, they're coming back. We've got coffee, Salvadorian coffee. We've got local honey. We have a lot of like artisan soaps, and we've even got some hair stuff. And we've got homemade jams, jellies, pickles. And I heard a rumor that this month we're going to be getting some hot carrots that have been canned. So this is going to be good. We just got a lot. I mean, and it's a food desert, and we're trying to provide opportunity for the community to be able to shop right there. And as of November, we will be able to accept SNAP at the market. So if you have an EBT card, you can come on down and you can trade me EBT for some tokens, and you can go shopping.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, let's go through. Council member was talking about an experience she had with her son, and it was a life-changing moment for both her and her son, as he was, I'll call it a victim of something with one of the teachers that, in my opinion, sounds like they jumped the gun and then became incarcerated. And from that lesson, she's really started an advocacy group for family members and so forth. So why don't you go through that one more time for her?
Basically, you asked me how did
Yeah.
what prompted me to
That's
run
right.
for city council, and I was giving you the very beginning, my involvement with the juvenile justice system with my son, working with Acorn, working with Texas Organizing Project, and of course the members asked me to run for office because one of the things we did was help candidates get elected.
Mhm.
But I did want to talk more about, like what we're doing in District B. And for folks that don't know what District B is, what neighborhoods District B make of, it's Acres Homes. And I know I appreciate Acres Homes on the call right now, and appreciate everything that you guys are doing over at the chamber to help advance the community. But then we also cover Willowbrook, Greenspoint, the Airport, Bordersville. You have Northeast, all the Northeast neighborhoods from Pleasantville, Houston Garden, Fifth Ward, Cashway Garden.
That's a big
we
district.
have a very big district. So, and I'm, and across the district, there's amazing work that's happening. As we talk about farmers markets, we have farmers markets across the district. But one of the things that I wanted to do when I got in office, and I knew that we needed to tackle in order to advance our communities, and that was poverty. In District B, you have approximately 27% of the households are living below the poverty line, and that's out of 215,000 plus constituents throughout District B that I represent. And so we rolled out the Be Successful Jobs Community Capacity Building Initiative, which is a comprehensive approach to addressing poverty. We take on 5 challenges: workforce development, public safety, capacity building for our nonprofit organizations, improving the quality of life, and economic development. In fact, on the workforce development piece and the economic development piece, we have a job fair that's happening on this Thursday at Greenhouse International, which actually marks our 3rd year of running this initiative. And so we've getting people connected to jobs, training, and we have apprenticeship opportunities. As far as our capacity building for the nonprofit organizations, we took a total of 30 organizations through a resilience training for a whole year so that they can learn how to set up their infrastructure, the nonprofit organizations, learn how to fundraise. Because one of the challenges is there's a lot of organizations doing great work, but the resources are scarce. And our organizations don't know how to set up, their boards to make sure that the boards are monitoring the nonprofit organizations. So coming from nonprofit, and I know that was a challenge. I wanted to make sure that I reach back and educate, the constituents in District B on how to, again, run their nonprofit organizations, set up, workforce development, but most importantly, the credible messenger piece. That's where that came from. If my son would have had a mentor, and like a lot of these kids had mentors and understood how to navigate these systems, we probably would have never got caught up in the system. So creating that group of leaders, young men and women who've been in the system, parents who've been in the system, to support our families and help them navigate the various systems so that they don't get caught up. We're working on a lot of economic development projects, from the Greenspoint Mall, the old Kmart Shopping Center, and these are projects that the community said that they wanted to see move forward. What I've done is I created the District B Master Plan, and this master plan consists of all the plans that the community have set at the table, and let the leaders know, our mayors, University of Houston, let them know what they would like to see in their community. So we compiled the complete community plan, the resilience plan. The University of Houston did a urban planner plan. All these plans, we put it into one master plan. So whoever come after me as city council, a city council member, they're gonna know what the community has requested. They're gonna know. Yeah, we know all the vacant land. Look at the plan. It's on the website. Okay. I'll give you guys the website.
Let's put it up
it's
there.
It's called the Houston. It's districtbhouston.org.
Okay, they're going to find it here as we go through that. Shiva, I want to make sure, any follow-up question that you have, though, for the council member?
I don't know if it's so much as a question, so much as maybe like just wondering, like, how do we have a conversation, at the chamber, being that, one of our primary missions is economic development. And I know that, each city budget does have some funding that goes towards economic development. Well, our question is really, how do we get in the budget?
Council member, I don't know the whole budgeting process, but I know one thing: there's not a lot of money to go around these days.
Yeah, the money.
I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubble, but the realistic thing is, even the mayor said when he first came in that the city's broke. But what can we do for Acres Home and there to get more funding? I think that's really the question.
I mean, we have to start tapping into these private donors,
Mhm.
the corporations. If you notice, when Mayor Turner was in office, a lot of his projects was corporate donations. He matched it; the donors matched it with, what the city was given. Like working with the different departments, like whatever, if we're working on economic development, find out what the economic development department, what are they applying for in regards to federal grants. That's how the city do the extra projects, is by applying for the grants, because the city budget only covers, most of the budget covers salary.
That's right.
It's not
all the workers.
all the workers. It's not extra money to cover keeping up our parks. It's very scarce, the health department. So we have to go out and raise those dollars. And I caught on to that when I first got into office. After the first 3 months, I realized that the city didn't have money. So that's why I formed the Be Successful Community Capacity Building Initiative, which all these organizations that have been working with us so far, we have raised over 4.5 million. And that's outside, bringing money in to support these nonprofit organizations, these credible messengers, et cetera. And so it's basically tapping into the market that is not part of the city, the private market. That's where you're going to get your bucks at.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for calling, Shiva. And I sure hope that, please tell Mr. Muhammad that we appreciate all the hard work that he does.
Absolutely. And I hope to see y'all both at the gala on the 25th of October.
25th of October. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So the Acres Home Gala, the 25th of October, they do a lot of great work there. Mr. Muhammad is a real prince. We do have several people call. Linda. Is there a Linda on? Linda.
My goodness, this is the first time I've heard you.
Linda, how are you?
Hello, my I'm doing fine. Hello, my councilwoman.
Well, hello, Miss Linda.
How are you, Miss Linda? And what do you got for Houston today?
Well, I have something for Councilwoman Jackson, for the both of you, as you perseverated over what happened with the teachers, and look at what's happening now in Houston Independent School District, where over 50% of them aren't certified, granting emergency. Ridiculous. And Councilwoman, I do understand that there has just everything must impact District B. You are on the ground. Your boots are on the ground. We see you for 5 minutes and you flash out. I also must compliment you on with the hearing of citizens. You are one of the few members that have the predominantly Black and brown districts that stays.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I really thank you for that. With your right now, you're going to only have more problems. And I also want to say, Gilbert, a lot of times people say they don't show up. Well, it's hard when you're squeezing in everything else to come to Houston Independent School District board meetings. But I have seen my councilwoman there, because we are battling against this nefarious takeover, hook, line, and center. One guy, Armando Val, came on your show, I think it was, Mr. Garcia, and said that he just thinks it's going to go on. But it seems like the tide is turning, because the people are registering and they are voicing their discontent, and it's because of shows like yours. Councilwoman, when I want to tell you, Mike Morath and every other education agency head who was appointed by Governor Abbott, and I think Governor Rick also, they have no certification in schools. They took out a very good course. They took out a course for those kids going for certification, and this was I think it's in the 80s. They said, there's no reason to have penmanship, there's no reason to have spelling, and there's no reason to have how to teach the course and the protocol that has to happen. So it's gone. So these young people that Mike Miles hires, that didn't happen during your time, but I'm just saying what's happening now to your district. So the next time you can squeeze us in, you know what's happening. These young people don't have the certification. They don't know what they don't know. There's nobody old. When I began teaching, there were teachers that were seniors, and they pulled us aside and they let us know what it is, what it was you could do, what it was you couldn't do. And there is nothing. And as we are campaigning and saying that we are looking at education, we also have to remember our parents they're working. How is a woman who's got to get up and go to work and then get the kids dressed, go shopping? The kids are in school 10 hours. The parents' tongues are falling out. But I thank you both for bringing it up. The course was taken out by Texas Education Agency. And that's certainly, instead of chasing down someone who needs a life-saving measurement for her life to go on, because she might need to terminate a pregnancy, I think it would be a good idea if they look to the land of the living.
Yes.
Well, we sure appreciate you. Counselor, is there anything you wanted to share with this, Linda?
No, I just wanted, Miss Linda, thank you for those words. Just know that, I understand like some of the resources that are scarce, even with dealing with the education system. That's why we've set up, we're doing what we can do. That's why we have a space where parents that understand these issues in the education system are working with other parents that have kids in the system to help them navigate those spaces. So we would love to, have more discussions with you. In fact, my sister is a counselor over at McReynolds Middle School. I know I'm putting on the spot right now, but McReynolds Middle School, and
down the street from Wheatley, where I go ahead.
Yes, and so, but I did
with McReynolds in the summer.
Yeah. So and I was over at Key Middle School where James Harden did set up the store where the kids can, go in and purchase things based upon their performance in school. So I'm hearing from some teachers and some of the administrations that they sort of like, and I'm not promoting it, I'm just saying that they kind of like the structure, but there are still some issues, and whatever I can do to advocate for the issues, against the issues that we're having, but then also help these parents that have the kids that currently in this current new system, help them navigate the systems to make sure that they get the best outcomes for their kids.
I'm very sorry. I've got to tell you, we are vehemently opposed to the bond.
Oh yeah, I'm against the bond too. Oh yeah.
4.1, and you don't have anybody. Yeah. Teachers that he has there, they are forced to be yes men.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that. I understand the reason why Mike Miles, who never made $400,000 and some before in his life, you can say anything. You can pitch Rotten Tomatoes at him. He's staying. I would stay too at $400,000.
Right. That's a lot of money. Huh?
It's the money. I pat somebody on the head and go to church and pray, Lord, forgive me, and go.
Yeah.
I would.
But no, I appreciate you for that. I appreciate.
Thank you. We're against this bond. He has spent our students. Better than 40% of the teachers are not certified. Your 40% of your administration is gone.
Yeah.
And anyone who says anything, but I do thank you for Key. I taught at Key at summer school, Key and McReynolds summer school, and you're going to have problems. But to take over a school district when 88% are doing fine,
right,
and then to declare that I've decided that the rest of them on his skewed system, I've got 1/3 now that aren't doing well, and he says I flunked them.
Yeah, and and I agree with you. I had a conversation. I have my grandkids. They go to Atherton Elementary, and the principal, the whole administration has been let go, and so the kids are like, I hate it. Which last year they really enjoyed the school. I mean, we had a really good time. So, it's mixed emotions. Each school is different. And so as leaders, it's our responsibility just to make sure that our kids are okay. That they, and these parents, have the information.
I don't know who it in Northeast District is for what is happening.
Nobody, no. They all against it. I'm just saying, like the folks that's inside the schools.
I hear you say, yeah. Well, he has paid. He's paid those people, and those folks are if when you're uncertified and you don't know what you're doing, you just don't. Hey, you got student loans, you got everything. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But,
I agree.
Thank you so
Miss
much,
Linda. Thank you. I'm hugging you in the phone. We really appreciate your views.
What is it? Cynthia Wilson, who came out, who was on the upgrade of HISD. What is she doing when Mayor Turner Whitmire brought her on board?
Well, I mean, that's something that you have to ask her. I haven't had a sit down with her, so but when I sit down with her, I will definitely learn about what she's doing. I haven't met with her, so.
Well, Miss Linda, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
And then, I also got that website for our District B master plan, which is districtbhouston.com. So
districtbhouston.com. Go ahead and put that up there if you don't mind. We already have a bunch of callers waiting. Let's go through those callers. What was the first one? Alex, is there an Alex there?
Hi, good morning.
Alex, what do you got? You got Gilbert Garcia with a chip from me with Councilmember Tarsha Jackson. What do you got?
I actually have a question for Councilmember Tarsha Jackson. I noticed that there is a lot of construction going on in the Greenspoint area, and I wanted to ask if there was some kind of infrastructure project that was taking place, or any kind of initiatives to improve those areas.
Yeah, and on that, what's going on with Greenspoint? Aren't they doing something? Or
so Greenspoint, we flooded really bad during Harvey. And so a lot of the apartment complexes that are further near the Hardy Toll Road cannot rebuild. So there's billions of dollars going into infrastructure over there, creating green space, the retention ponds. But then also you have the bike trail that is like moving from your west side of Greenspoint to the east side that was going to connect to the 59. So there's a lot of development. Right now, our focus is Greenspoint Mall as well. Since it's recently been shut down. So making sure that location is developed to basically enhance the Greenspoint area and not more industrial projects. And so just keep your eye to, I don't know if you get our newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, the District B at HoustonTX.gov, which is the buzz. And we're keeping the residents informed on the progress of Greenspoint Mall and the other developments in that area.
Alex, thank you so much. Anything else you got, Alex?
No, that's all. Thank you so much for your service and everything you do. I'll definitely subscribe to the newsletter.
Okay, the buzz.
The buzz. Way to go, Alex. All right, we got more callers. They're all here. Let me see who's next here. Who do we got?
Jesse? Are you there?
Go ahead. Hold on, Houston. We got another caller. I think we got 3 callers already holding. Who do we got next? Jesse. Is there a Jesse on the line? Jesse.
Yes, sir.
Jesse, how you doing? You got me, Gilbert Garcia, a tip from me with Councilmember B, councilperson, Tarsha Jackson.
Hey, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm too blessed to be stressed, Gilbert. I'm just calling to remind everybody today's the last day to register to vote. And early voting starts October 21st, and the election day is Tuesday, November 5th. And I want to remind everybody coming on the 14th, we're having a debate watch against Cruz and Allred at Hacienda's TNT on Lawndale if everybody wants to come out and watch a debate.
But real quick, so Jesse, let's go through that one more time. So today is the last day to register to vote. And remember, my mom always said, if you don't vote, don't complain. And so we got to vote. And then we've got, of course, you said early voting begins October 21st. And then I think you said election day is November the 5th.
Correct. And again, I want to thank you, Gilbert. Our video comes out tomorrow. And I want to thank you for being part of the video to open up the video for our Vamos a Votar. So thank you very much, Gilbert, for your help and support on our song and our YouTube video that'll be out tomorrow.
Wonderful. Well, I know that our song is getting played everywhere. So a group of folks with Jumpin' Jazz, this is Jumpin' Jacks, right? And they did a song that's a go out and vote, etc. It's in Spanish, and it's after one of the Santana songs. and it's wonderful. I say an intro at the beginning. It's starting to get a lot of airplay, and we've got to do it, Jesse, because, the Latino vote's got to rise. We've got to rise.
Yeah.
My firm and me and others are really pushing hard through two things, primarily Voto Latino, which is a helping, frankly, elected. It's about getting the Latino vote out, period, and we're focusing on those battleground states. So this is it. It's funny, Councilmember, people always say, oh, this election is the most important one. This might very well be one of the most important ones.
Yeah.
When you consider you've got a convicted felon running, and you talk about what happened to the Capitol last year, you talk about there's 2 significant wars going on, you talk about inflation was sky high, you talk about the struggles people are having, all the shootings that go on all the time. This is really an important election, much more than we've ever said before. Jess, thank you so much. Anything else you got?
This is my favorite line, Gilbert. Don't be a tonto. Vote pronto.
We appreciate you, Jess.
All right, thank you, Gilbert.
Yes. Before we get to the next caller, of course, I always talk about my sister-in-law, who, as everybody knows, is going through cancer. And she was at our house with my brother-in-law, and they stay at our house about every 2 weeks or so as she's doing treatment at MD Anderson. And I want to do a prayer for healing for her. And I've done it before, and I do a prayer every time about healing, not just for her, but others that are going through other difficult times, whether it's health-wise or personal or anything else. And one of my other colleagues here at my office is going through a difficult time with her father's, not doing so well. And of course, Ruby Dang's parents are, going through some things, just natural aging, but it's still very painful and hard. So this is for my sister-in-law, Tanya. And the thing about her is she's got the most incredible disposition. I think, council member, if I were going through that, I think I'd be mad at the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be mad at everyone. I think I'd be a grump. I'd be a hermit. Not her.
Right.
She just has this aura of just great, of goodness somehow. So let's just do that. And you've probably seen that from your father and your grandfather, and how they have been a rock for the community. Yes. So let's go through that. Heavenly Father, I come before you with a heart burdened by illness. You are the great healer, and I place my trust in your loving hands. Grant me strength to endure this trial and courage to face each day. Pour out your healing grace upon my body, mind, and spirit. May your peace, which surpasses all understanding, fill my heart. In the midst of my weakness, be my strength. I surrender myself to your care, trusting that your love will sustain me. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
And then, of course, I saw a very interesting. We've talked a lot about Centerpoint over the last couple of weeks here, and I've called out and I've read all those board members' names, and I've read how much money they get paid and all those things, because I think it's just really outrageous what happens. Well, now Lieutenant Governor has now called for the president's resignation. So you know what? I think that's great. Dan Patrick, we thank you for that. We don't agree on a lot of things, but I think we agree on this one. And so, because you got to do better. When you have a city of this size and you have, tens of thousands of homes that are still without electricity for 2 weeks, that's just outrageous. We got to do better, especially when this storm, we saw it brewing. You could see it coming. This wasn't like out of nowhere, like a meteor that just hit. No, you saw it. You got to be prepared. Look what's going on in Florida. They're getting prepared. Anyways, we've talked a lot about that. I think we have 2 other callers already. Oh, no, very good. They must have jumped. Call back, please. So, Tarsha, let's go back for some, because one of the things about your district is, I'm going to just say something. You don't need to say it, but it seems to me it's been neglected.
Yes.
By the city.
It has been neglected.
Let's just say it, right? It's been neglected. And I don't know if it's the fact that they have lots of illegal dumping going on. They've got lots of, lack of sidewalks, open ditches. This is an area that needs more support. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Right. It's
talk about that.
More support. District B basically was annexed into the city, from Acres Homes northeast side of town, which is again, historical Black Latino, was annexed in the city in the early 60s. And there has been a lack of investment in the community in these areas. We have the most open ditches. Then 80% of the open ditches are in our district, and so we have a serious flooding problem. Every time it rains, it floods. And so I agree. Yes, the city has neglected the district, District B, but then also the leaders in Austin has neglected District B, because keep in mind, we have Congress, we have state representatives, and we have city council members. We have a mayor. The mayor controls the agenda. And so whatever projects that move forward throughout the city of Houston, the mayor controls that. Right. And a lot of these dollars come down from the state and the federal government. And so right now, I mean, when I got in office, I submitted a total of approximately 14 flood mitigation projects, which is part of the SWAT project, Stormwater Action Team projects. And what I learned when I submitted these projects, that our district had never been studied before. To find out why these neighborhoods flood. And the SWAT project is something that Mayor Turner came up with, because he did not want to continue to put money into the big CIP projects. But although I put these projects and we got them studied, when the study came back, they have to be CIP projects. So my fear right now is that I've waited for 2.5 years for these projects to get studied. Now the results is it requires CIP. So we need millions of dollars to fix District B's infrastructure, to make sure District B is not flooding. And it's not just the city. You have Harris County Flood Control. When I came in, we have orphan ditches. I didn't know anything about orphan ditches. Orphan ditches are just ditches out there. They look like a bio, but nobody wants to control it. Nobody wants to take ownership of it. So nobody touches it. And we have quite a few in District B that need cleaning, because they actually, the water would channel through these orphan ditches into the Greens Pot Bayou or to the Buffalo Bayou. But if these ditches are not clean, then we're going to continue to see flooding. So so it's a lot going on in District B. The illegal dumping, yes, we have changed some things with
hold that thought. Let's stay on flooding for 1 second.
Flooding, okay.
Because one of the things that, everybody knows I ran for mayor, and I had a great fun time running, let me tell you. But one of the things is these TERSs. These TERSs are out there, and for Houston, what that means is it was meant to be by a state law to create these TERSs, tax increment investment zone. It was meant to be an area to help areas like District B, like I'm going to call it maybe an unfair word, but like blighted communities that really needed more support. Right. So the whole point was you kind of get an area where it's homogenous, which means they're kind of all the same, and allow them to cap their property taxes, and everything above that going forward, they get to spend on their district. Right. That's what it was meant to be. Unfortunately, that's not what's happened.
That's not what happened.
Because now what's happened is it's gotten like the very wealthy districts are all the ones that have all the increment. And so that's money that's not being used for things like District B.
Right.
And you've got these things like Uptown, Downtown, Midtown, these Galleria, Kirby, Upper Kirby, and they're flush with money.
They're concentrating wealth.
There you go. That's a much better way.
Concentration of wealth.
Amen.
And to say some in our District B, which are these underserved communities that are coming late to the game, is just learning about TERS. We just established the TERS some years ago for the northeast side, and right now I think we're at $1 million. So just imagine you get $1 million over here, and don't quote me on that, but it's like $1 million. But then you have Galleria getting $100 million. Now we can't touch any of that money. Right. We can't touch Galleria because we on this side of town. So I'm constantly talking to our economic development department. We have to find a way to tap into those resources that are in these TERSs and help pull up these neighborhoods that have been neglected for decades.
Well, when I was running, I said, number one, I had committed I would not do another TERS, because I think they're bad.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Number two is I said, we got to find a way to claw back the money from those TERSs that exist, or those services that are in their district, whether it's police or fire, make them pay for it. Right. So that will free up the budget for other places like District B.
Right.
And so I'm just, people needs to know about these things, because they don't know.
Then the other thing, Gilbert, is the management district. So if you notice, each TERS have a management district, and the management district, my constituents complain all the time. If you go up Lydia York Road from 59 to Hirsch, you're going to see it's clean, it's upkept, and all. And then once you cross over the train track, it's grass, high grass,
Yep.
nothing is up, it kept up. And they like, why is this? I'm like, because they have a management
That's right.
district and you don't have a management district. And keeping in mind that the city's budget is strictly for the necessities. It's for
Yep.
cover staff and then to do the bare minimum. So you have to have these other entities. It has turned out to where we need these
Well-
other entities, unless we lift the revenue cap.
Yep.
But if you lift the revenue cap, then you have a state imposed cap.
Well,
So
and you know, if you list that revenue cap, they'll find a way, to mess it up, because it really goes back to there are resources out there that we're not able to direct to the right places.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. Upper Kirby. Not Upper Kirby, I'm sorry, Post Oak. They have those big rings there on Post Oak Boulevard. They're beautiful. That are in the sky, you know, so you drive underneath it. Yeah. Well, guess what? They weren't beautiful enough, so they're going to change them out. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, those are beautiful. We'd love to have that in your district.
We can just get a little piece of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, and you know why? They want to have lights on them.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to be, you know what that's called? You got more money than you need. So you're just trying to find things to spend money on them. And here's the other thing. These boards that control that money, they're unelected.
Yep.
You gotta face the people all the time. You gotta run for office. You gotta get your message out.
They should be elected because they're messing with. They're responsible for money. The people's, because that is the people's money.
That's it.
At the end of the day, it's the people's money.
Some of those people think it's their money.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We got another caller. Diana, is Diana there?
Hi, how are you, Gilbert?
Diana, I'm good. This is Gilbert Garcia. Tip from me with Council Member Tarsha Jackson. What do you got for us?
I just wanted to know, I just wanted to remind people to get out there and vote.
Let's go.
It was my first time voting, and I just want to tell you, once you get started, you'll want to continue to vote because it's very important. We've been out there spreading the word and just reminding people who say their vote doesn't matter, that it does. It does.
It sure does. You know what? Jarvis Johnson found that out because, you know, there he was in a big district, et cetera. And, you know, that whole Senate district and Molly Cook's, you know, going to be a great senator. But that vote differential was like 70 out of whatever it was, 30,000 cast. Every vote matters. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, let's go through it again. The last day, I believe, Dee, this is correct. The last day to register is today. The early vote starts on October 21st, which is really 2 weeks. I should just say that. And November 5th is election day.
Right. Those are correct. And don't forget to take those people out there that don't have rides. If there's anybody out there who needs a ride, I have plenty of people volunteering. So if they need to call your number, or if they need to call my number, if there's someone out there, the seniors especially, we want to get everybody out there to vote this
Well, if you're comfortable, what's your number?
832-837-9192, and I will get someone to get somebody a ride. Anybody who needs a ride, that is not a reason not to vote.
Amen. Dee, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks. Stay blessed, Gilbert.
You too. So coming back, council member. So TERSs, that just gets me. Yeah. I mean, it's just so they're unelected. You have to go before the voters all the time. Nobody even knows who they are.
Right.
And there they are making decisions on what they think is their money, but it's not. It's the people's money. Now let's go back because we talked about flooding. You wanted to go into some of the other things like what was the other? You had another big issue that you wanted to talk about, and I cut you off too soon. Public safety.
Public safety. Which public safety, it covers a wide variety of things. As I mentioned, to the Credible Messenger program.
Yes.
But then also, as we talk about illegal dumping.
That's
public safety
Tell us about that.
know?
Because, you know, I don't know what the fines are. I looked it up at one point. It's pretty nominal. My view is you got to really find the heck out of these people, or, you know, you got to make it hurt if you can find them. And because if you don't make it hurt, they're going to keep on doing it.
And so we work closely with HPD, the Constable Alan Rosen, where we have cameras throughout the district. And so we are catching people. We like district reps don't know where the cameras are at because they're moving, and we don't want the people to know where the cameras are at so that we can catch them. But one of the things that we see within the dumping that it's people that are being evicted. You know, the owners of these apartment complexes are like taking the constituents' belongings and just dumping them within our neighborhood.
That's terrible.
There's a lot of new construction. Sometimes I see whole houses on the side of the road where instead of them going and dumping it properly, they're dumping it in the middle of our community. And keep in mind that we have no zoning. So, I mean, it's just like free for all for everybody in the district. And so that what I've done within my district office is I have 2 hot teams, which is a total of 8 men men and women who actually goes out and try to make sure that we keep in the district clean. I partner with the partner with the Texas Tube Bank to where we bought lawnmowers and what is it, the weed eaters,
yeah,
to where we can keep our medians clean, and and they work with the neighbors. We go and cut the neighbors' yards just to try to make sure, do what we can to keep our community beautified.
So
but we need the constituents. If you see somebody dumping, record them, get their license.
Yeah.
I ran into somebody, me and Director Williams was doing a tour, and somebody was about to dump and they saw us, and then they stopped. We actually was doing another tour and we saw somebody dumping. We pulled over and said, hey, stop dumping in our neighborhood. And it's people that don't live in these neighborhoods.
Yeah. How do they call you to say, report something like that? What's your number?
First they need to do is call 311.
Okay.
Or they contact my office at 832-393-3009, and they can even text my office. They don't have to call
at that number.
Okay. You can text us 832-393-3009. Text us a picture, any information you have, and we'll come get DRT out and to take care of the situation and get our hot team out to try to get whatever debris is there. It's a lot of work.
It's
so exhausting.
But guess what? It's so important in the community because once you start seeing that, you then feel like your community's not, you start getting down and negative, and you got to clean it up. It's our community, it's our home. Let's go. We got a Miss Palmer. Miss Palmer, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Miss Palmer, you got me, Gilbert Garcia. What do you got?
I've been having a nonprofit organization ever since 2001. I never had help in any of it. I'm a chemical dependency counselor. I'm also a faith-based community counselor. And we're in the 3rd Ward area. I'm in the McGregor area, and we have, I can't get no help from nobody, but we go in our pockets. I do groups, and we go in our pockets and we help the ones that need help as much as we can. But I am one of the faith-based counselors in 3rd Ward, and we also do. I specialize in chemical dependency. So, and I'm state certified, and I have a 501c3. So, we just can't get any help. And these people's out here, and we're willing to work, but we just can't get any help.
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Palmer. You got a website or anything like that? Let's say it to Houston.
No, it's just me. It's just me and a few others. We're gonna have to set up a website. We just been coming out of our pockets, keeping the ministry going.
And Miss Palmer, I encourage you to reach out to your council member and let her know what you're doing. Your council member is Councilmember Shabazz, and their email address is districtd@houstontx.gov. So you can share what you're doing over in that area.
What is it?
It's District D as in dog at HoustonTX.gov.
Yeah. At HoustonTX.gov. Okay. I will. But I listen, Gilbert. I listen at you every time you come on. I'm listening at you because I see that you help the community a whole lot.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm trying to do the Lord's work. I'm trying.
You're doing it.
And I appreciate y'all both for saying that.
Yeah, we all trying to do the Lord's work. But you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer.
Great job.
I'm hugging you right now in cyberspace.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
And I'm also a minister. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Palmer. What a great lady. Let's go. AJ. Is there an AJ on? AJ. Did you hang up there, AJ? If you did, boy, it's almost time. Can you believe it? It flew like that. I didn't do it. You got a lot of calls. I want to try to fit in at least one more here, maybe 2. We got about 5 minutes is what I see. AJ, you there?
Yes.
AJ, what do you got? You got me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip for me with Council Member Tarsha Jackson. What do you got?
Okay, couple of things. when it comes to illegal dumping, I think one thing that would help is like with tires. They, here in Houston may come out and pick up some of the debris, but they won't really fool with tires. How about some of these little tire shops that we pass an ordinance to where they have to keep a record of how many tires they take in and where they're disposed of, because we pay a disposal fee when we get tires. And it's like, hey, if you took in 200 tires, I want to know where those 200 tires went.
Yep.
And second of all, if you see somebody doing construction, I'm like, you don't put it out on the side of the road for us to clean up your mess. There should be another ordinance. If you're doing construction, you have to have somebody to come and pick it up and you pay for it.
Yeah. And then you have to have a dumpster. One of the things we're pushing to make it mandatory that every construction have a dumpster on site. That they have to get a permit for that so that we can make sure that they're dumping in their dumpster and not on the side of the road. But I really appreciate you bringing up
but let me say one more thing.
Go.
All the laws and ordinance in the world, from my experience in law enforcement, don't mean anything if people don't go out there and enforce it.
Right. And that's been one of the challenges, is enforcing it. That's why we're calling on the residents. If you see something, say something, take pictures of it, record. Don't try to, apprehend them yourself, but record it so that we can hold them accountable for the dumping that they're doing within our neighborhoods.
And one last thing, I tell you one thing that is so effective. If you catch somebody illegally dumping it, tow their vehicle, because you may not pay that fine to the city of Houston, because I was in law enforcement. But when you tow that vehicle, you're going to pay them.
Yeah.
AJ, you're just a wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
what else do you see there, AJ? What else do you see out there in the community?
I guess it's just the lack of people being aware of what resources are available and what they can do. Like you can call 311, or you can contact a substation, and they have a DRT unit. And I've used them before, and they will come out and they will give it to people, and they give them an opportunity like, hey, you need to get these junk cars out of your yard. And we're going to come back, give you a month or so, and we're going to come back, and then we're going to start finding you. So it's just resources out there. And too many times we see stuff, we complain about it, but we don't do anything.
Right. Right. And you know what? And I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying about, knowing about the resources. One of the things I do within the district, I have a district B briefing that happens every quarterly, where residents, if you need not even much part of your civic club or super neighborhood, which I encourage everyone to get involved with your super neighborhood and civic club, because that's how you send information to the administration. But if you're not part of it, I have a District B briefing where residents can come out, they can learn about what District B is doing. They can share their concerns and the issues and things that they see that's happening within their neighborhood. And that way we're co-creating and we co-designing our policies and our processes for the district. So I encourage people to attend the District B briefings, but then also, again, sign up for the District B Buzz, the newsletter. It comes out every Friday at 5 p.m. Contact us, 832-393-3009 with your email address. We'll get you signed up so that you can, stay informed of what we're doing. Thank you, sir.
And one last thing, DRT, some of these people, they're reactive. We need to be proactive. We don't have to call you to see a violation. If you see a violation, go ahead and write it.
Right, exactly.
Mr. AJ, thank you so much. I hope you call up again. You were very helpful to the community. Thank you, my friend.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Well, Councilmember, it's unbelievable, but there's an old Carol Burnett show. Remember that show?
I remember Carol.
Where at the end, she goes, I'm so glad we had this time together. Yeah, remember that song?
Yeah.
Just to have a laugh and sing a song. And before we get started, then it's time to say so long. Guess what? We're already done with an hour.
Right.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need a whole lot more time. It's a lot of information
I'm
to share.
I'm going to have to have you back because I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface on everything that's going on in your district and all the great stuff that you're doing. But now you're going to have the last minute, the last word. Actually, I'm going to give 30 seconds, which is don't forget to vote. Today is the last day to register, October 21st. That's when early voting starts. November 5th, that is election day. My daughter, even she got registered. She's ready to go. She wants to vote for the first female president ever. Here we go. Council member, look in that camera. Tell Houston what you want to say.
Go out and vote. Your voice is your vote. Okay. That's how we change things. That's how we get people elected that share our vision. I encourage you to get out and vote, but then also sign up for the District B newsletter so you can know what's going on in the District B, this district that's boundless, beautiful, and bold. Our phone number is 832-393-3009. Sign up for the buzz. Love you.
Beautiful. Wait, say what is it?
Bold, boundless, and beautiful.
I love it. That's it. You heard it here first.
Bold, boundless, and beautiful.
You heard us at Gilbert Garcia Tinsler say, we'll see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.